roast chicken is one of life's simple pleasures, something that isn't too hard, but that can seemingly take a lifetime to master. It's not complex in concept, and its most basic elements are just chicken and heat, and perhaps a little bit of seasoning. Today we're going to see about figuring out this classic dish, and with an added twist. We're going to roast a whole chicken in everybody's favorite kitchen gadget, the air fryer. The air fryer is typically a countertop device, and one that is not actually any sort of fryer. It's essentially a mini convection oven, which simply means it uses dry heat and fan-assisted air circulation to cook more efficiently and evenly. The first step is optional, but an important one, and that step is to brine the chicken. Too often, roasted chicken, especially the white meat, can end up dry, and this is where brining comes to the rescue. And while it takes a little bit of time, it takes very little effort. So what is brining? Brining is simply the process of treating food with salt. This can be achieved either by applying salt by itself, which is a dry brine, or by using salt dissolved in water, which is what we're going to use today. While food scientists are arguing to this day about why precisely brining works, it ultimately causes the chicken to hold on to additional water within its cellular structure, which produces a much more moist and juicy result. And don't worry, the way we're going to do it won't result in an overly salty roast. In fact, if done correctly, the chicken will only have a tiny hint of mild salt flavor. In addition to the salt, sometimes a little sugar can be added to a brine, and this can help to promote browning in the roast. Okay, let's get started. First, we'll need a vessel that can hold our chicken and enough water to cover it. In this case, we'll be using 2 liters of water, but you'll need to use whatever amount of water covers the chicken in whichever container that you're using. Also, you should use cold water, either cold tap water or refrigerated water. The optimal amount of salt for our brine is 6% by weight of salt to water. So, 2 liters of water equals 2 kilograms of weight, which equals 2,000 grams of water. Therefore, 6% by weight would be 120 grams of salt. And for the sugar, we're going to add half that, or 60 grams. If you're not into the whole metric system thing, 2 liters of water is pretty close to 2 quarts of water, which equals 64 ounces of weight. Therefore, 2 quarts of water would require 3.8 ounces of salt and 1.9 ounces of sugar. Just make it simple and call it 4 ounces of salt and 2 ounces of sugar if you like. Add the water, salt, and sugar to your container and whisk the brine until the salt and sugar are completely dissolved. Now, simply immerse the chicken in the brine and refrigerate. For this application, we recommend refrigerating the chicken for a minimum of 2 hours, but 4 hours is optimal. If you're short on time and will be brining for less than 2 hours, increase the weight of both the salt and the sugar by 50%. In the meantime, let's do what little extra prep is necessary. In this case, we're using a 5-pound chicken, or about 2.3 kilograms, but you'll want to use whatever size will fit in your air fryer. We're using an air fryer with a 5-quart capacity, and this 5-pound chicken is close to the maximum size it will fit. 5.5 pounds probably, 6 pounds maybe, maybe not. If the capacity of your air fryer is less than 5 quarts, you'll need to reduce the size of your chicken accordingly. Now let's gather the rest of our ingredients. First, we'll make a quick herb spice blend. Mix the following together in a small bowl. 1 tablespoon crushed dried rosemary, 1 tablespoon dried sage, 1 tablespoon dried thyme, 1 teaspoon granulated garlic, and 1 teaspoon granulated onion. We'll also be using some fresh herbs, 2 to 3 sprigs rosemary, 4 to 5 sprigs of thyme, and 1 large sprig of sage. And for the rest of the ingredients, we'll need the following: 1 lemon cut into wedges, 1 to 2 cloves of peeled fresh garlic, either crushed or minced, 1 or 2 tablespoons of ghee, or you can use clarified butter or unsalted butter, salt and pepper, and olive oil. When it's time, remove the chicken from the refrigerator, discard the brine, and drain as much excess liquid from the chicken as you can. Use paper towels to pat the skin of the chicken dry as much as possible. In the cavity of the chicken, place 1 to 2 cut in half wedges of the lemon, the fresh garlic, the ghee or the butter, and the fresh herbs. Also, add just a pinch of salt and pepper and a pinch of our herb spice blend to the cavity. And cover the surface lightly with oil. Sprinkle with 2 pinches of the herb spice blend and light salt and pepper. Turn the chicken over and repeat with the oil, herb spice blend, and salt and pepper. Remember, even though our brine chicken will not taste terribly salty, it will still have a mild salt flavor, so go lightly with the additional salt. You can always add more later, but you can't remove it once added. Now we're ready to start cooking. Your chicken should be breast side down to start, so just close up the air fryer and set your time and temperature. For time and temperature, every air fryer is different, so be prepared to experiment a little bit until it works perfectly for you. Another variable to experiment with is whether or not to cook both sides for an equal amount of time. The underside of the chicken may take a little longer to cook and can withstand more heat for a longer time than the breast side. We found good results between 50% of the total time each side to 60% of the time on the underside and 40% for the breast side. Again, this will vary depending on your air fryer. If you're trying this for the first time, we'd recommend the 50-50 method and then adjust based on your results. For the example we're showing today, we're actually closer to a 60-40 split, going for about 45 minutes for the underside and 35 minutes for the breast side. One thing to note about air fryers, in most cases for safety purposes, they will have a maximum cooking time of perhaps 25 to 30 minutes. If you need to go longer than that, just set it for the maximum time, and when that is reached, just run it again for whatever additional time is necessary. Once the first side is finished cooking, carefully turn the chicken over so that the breast side is facing up, and try not to lose any of the liquid that will be in the cavity. Add a little more oil, a little more herb spice blend, and light salt and pepper. Pro tip, make sure the drumsticks are pointing towards the inside of the air fryer. Otherwise, they can catch and get stuck when you try to remove it, and we don't want that to happen. Close the air fryer and cook for the remaining time at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the cooking time is finished, let the chicken rest inside the air fryer for an additional 5 minutes. This will allow for any extra carryover cooking to complete. Now, insert a temperature probe into the thickest part of the breast while avoiding any bones, and you're looking for 165 degrees Fahrenheit, which will indicate your chicken is done. Otherwise, put it back in the air fryer for a little longer. When the chicken is done, remove it from the air fryer to a suitable cutting board with a juice groove and tent it loosely with foil and let it rest for at least 10 minutes. Don't skip this step, as the resting time allows for the juices in the chicken to redistribute properly. If you cut into it right away, most of the juice will run out right away, and most of your efforts at producing a moist, juicy chicken will be lost. While the chicken is resting, we'll make a simple lemon herb sauce for drizzling. Just recover about a half of a cup or so of the juices left in the air fryer in a small bowl. Then squeeze in 1 wedge of lemon and mix together with a pinch or 2 of our herb spice blend. Now you're ready to serve. I hope you enjoy. Did you try this air fryer roast chicken? How'd it come out? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to see more, like and subscribe.